Boom! Let's knit a thing. Oh, hi. Once you go sheep, you never go cheap. Oh, hi! This is episode 23 of Soxcetera, and I'm here just outside, like 5 minutes out of Pacific City. I'm on a beach. I'm on a beach called Cape Kiwanis, I believe. Let me see, I put it in my notes here. Okay, all of my show notes have somehow disappeared between now and writing them. We're at this, I believe it's called Cape Kiwanis, this beach. And right over there is a rock called Haystack, but it's not the Cannon Beach Haystack rock. Steve looked it up on Wikipedia, and apparently there are 9 haystack rocks along the coast, and this is the 4th largest one. The one on Cannon Beach is the 3rd largest one. So we are literally camping right across the street at a campground called Thousand Trails. It's like a chain campground all across North America, and we have a membership there, so we like to camp at their campgrounds. I really love this one because there's even a few sites that overlook this ocean. It's so beautiful here. I know that I live in Vancouver and I have access to this ocean, this very same ocean, but somehow traveling along the coast, it just feels so special. So I love coming here, and the first time that we came here about 1.5 years ago, I couldn't even contain myself. I was like yipping and yapping, running, screaming, and dancing across the beach. And there's a picture of me on Instagram if you have the patience to go back 1.5 years, or maybe I'll try to find it and post it here. I'm just like doing jumps, and I'm so happy to be on the Oregon coast because I'd heard so much about it my whole life, and Steve had traveled it with his family a bunch of times, but I had never been, so it was really special the first time we came. And now it's old hat because we've been here so many times, and I just absolutely love it. So because my show notes have for some reason disappeared, I'm going to wing it today. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully, because I've written it all down, it's somewhere in the recesses of my brain. But I just came from Portland, where I was at a conference called World Domination Summit. And to be honest, I didn't love it. I got something out of every single talk, and I'm glad I went and experienced it. But it's not really my jam. Maybe it would have been 10 years ago Shannon's jam. But I'm a little bit more jaded than I used to be, and so I have pretty high expectations of things like that. It was just a little bit too, I don't know, the messaging was everyone can choose happiness, everyone can choose positivity. The only limits are limits you put on yourself, and I'm not sure that I agree with all of that messaging. I feel like it's very idealistic and not accessible to everyone, but that's not to say I hated the conference. So I'm definitely glad I went. I went with my friend Robin, and we had a lot of fun yarn shopping, and we had fun hanging out, and I Periscoped almost every night, so I had really fun catching up with those of you who showed up on my Periscope, and we had a lot of giggles on Periscope, and that was very enjoyable. So I don't regret the trip at all. It was wonderful. And then Steve and Emma on Monday, they had been camping in the area for 2 nights. So we met for breakfast, and then we headed here where we're now camping with Steve's parents. And then we're here one more night, and then we're heading down to Tillicum, which is a campground right between Waldport and Yachats, and it's a campground right on the beach. So it is also gorgeous, and all in celebration of Steve's parents' 50th anniversary. We're doing all of this fun stuff together for about 10 days. And after Tillicum, we're heading down the coast more south to Florence, and we'll be without Steve's parents. It'll just be Steve and Emma and I. And we're staying at a campground just, I think it might even be part of Florence, or if it isn't part of Florence, it's like 2 minutes outside of Florence. And it's called South Jetty. And it's not right on the beach, but it has beach access. So lots of sand dunes and fun to be had there. Dogs. Maybe I'll see if I can add this video footage, because the dogs right now are on the beach with Steve over there. So maybe I'll put an insert right of what I've been seeing in the video. So I'll add that footage so you can see what I'm seeing. It's so beautiful here. Yeah, so I decided to come down and record here today, so hopefully this works out okay. So far the only problem is I completely lost my show notes, and which means that I can't read you my Shouty Shan excerpt. Shouty Shan today was going to be about basically being subversive in how you dress as a woman, because society expects us to dress in certain ways, dress so that we're attractive and make a statement, but not too much of a statement to intimidate men. So essentially I was going to be talking about the male gaze. So maybe I'll post the article that I was going to read an excerpt from in the show notes. It's an article actually written by a Vancouver local, and I met her once at a writer's meetup, and she wrote it in a publication online called The Establishment, which is an amazing publication if you haven't had the chance to check that out. And I think it was called something like Toddler Granny, your answer to, I'm not going to do it any justice, but I will definitely share that in the show notes. And maybe since I've got a couple minutes, I'll make mention that last time I talked about Black Lives Matter and what we can do in the face of all of the crummy things that are going on in the world for the community of color, and I used some pretty provocative language when I said that the police had murdered 2 more people, and as a result I lost a good chunk of viewers. And so I had some reflecting to do about that, because I thought, well, maybe this means that I should stop talking about such heated, controversial things. But then I thought, and my point would be to be less offensive and keep people around who maybe are bigoted. And I thought, why would I do that? So I'm just going to keep talking about the stuff that I'm learning about. I'm going to keep sharing with you in the ways that I know how to. And I think, honestly, my problem wasn't losing the viewership, because I try really hard not to care about my subscriber numbers, but I try to care about being authentic. And I think what was most disheartening was the fact that I lost people who probably needed to hear that message more than anyone who stayed. So that's disheartening, because you know, you only have your little corner of the world to work on, and this podcast is my part of my corner. And so I guess I want to do the best work that I can here. And it's tough to know how to say those things in a way that people are really going to be able to hear. Maybe people that in general have a hard time hearing that stuff. So yeah, I guess I just have some more reflecting and some work to do, but I definitely know that I still want to continue talking about the tough stuff, because it's stuff that I'm learning about. It's stuff that's helping me do better. It's making me a better human, and I want to surround myself with people who care about making the world better. So if I start to shy away from that stuff because I'm losing viewers, then I'm not being Shannon. I'm being fearful and letting my fear drive my bus, and I don't want to do that. So I guess thanks of those of you who stayed. I guess especially those people who really had a hard time hearing that message and had to like think about it. And maybe you still disagree with what I said, but maybe it's percolating and you're doing some of your own research and reading, and I applaud you for that, because it is hard work. It's not just when you're groomed by a society that would have you believe one thing. It is a lot of work to go against that and do the work to find out what you actually in your heart believe to be true and right. So then on my show notes, I believe I had to show you some project bags that I have up in my shop right now. And I wanted to tell you the origin of those project bags. And they came about because my friend Carla from the Knit Nicks podcast made me this enormous, beautiful project bag. At my request, I said, will you make me a big project bag? And it was before I was sewing. It was before I thought I was ever going to sew. And she came through. She came through in a big way. And I love this bag, and I shove other project bags into it and whatever I need on knit night, and I lug it up to Starbucks, which is like 4 or 5 blocks from my house. And I don't have a really great way to carry it, so I typically just like string it over my shoulder because it's just a drawstring bag. And every time I do, I find myself wishing it was a little mini backpack. And so I thought, why don't I make mini backpacks? And so that's what I've been doing, and they have become my most favorite thing to make. And so I've sold one of them, and these 3 are left up on my shop. And so they're all drawstring, and then they can become a backpack. And they're just meant to keep light stuff in. They're not heavy duty, reinforced or anything. So just like, you know, whatever couple projects that you're working on and want to throw in here, maybe your wallet, a pair of sunglasses, your car keys. There's this fun one, and this one just has ribbon drawstrings. I really like this one a lot. It's got like fun red drawstrings in this bright fuchsia accent, and it's fuchsia on the inside. I forgot to show you that this one is a fun surprise mustard on the inside, which I actually really like too. And then the last one that I still have for sale in my shop is this really bright blue one. And these are about 13 by 14 inches. And this just has the fun blue on the inside. And I really, really love them. So if you are interested in those are up in my shop. I'm going to be making a lot more because, like I said, I really love them. I find them super practical. I don't have one for myself yet. I might see if I can find a way to turn Carla's bag into a backpack because I love Carla's bag so much. And I want to be able to continue to lug it up to knit night with me. Thanks for this, Carla. I really, really do love it. And that takes us to finished objects, and I have some exciting news. I have a thing that's, okay, so it's not totally finished, but it's finished enough. I could have stayed up late last night and finish them. So these are 2 at a time vanilla socks. I cast on with the Turkish cast on, which really is witchcraft, magical. I do not understand how that cast on works, but literally you wrap the yarn around both needles and then you start knitting and somehow it all comes together. So that is my favorite cast on. I think I started with 16 stitches on each side, so 32 total, and then I just increased every other round until I had 64 total, so it's a 64 stitch sock. And then I just decided to do the Flegel heel because it's my most favorite heel. It's super simple. And I did my very first, you probably can't see this very well, but it's the eye of partridge, something like that, where it's the slip stitch, but it's every, you shift it so that it doesn't match up. So it's a slip stitch heel just to give it a little bit of more durability. And then I'm up to the cuff, and they're going to be shorty socks. They're not very tall, as you can see. I prefer ankle socks. They're the ones I always reach for in my drawer. So I decided that most of my hand knit socks will be ankle socks so that I reach for them more. And so far right now I only have about a 1/2 inch of the cuff, and it's just a 2x2 cuff. And I think I want about an inch, so I'm gonna go for about an inch more. So I should be able to finish these today, and if you follow me on Instagram later, you may or may not see a picture of them because, like I said, we have pretty shoddy Wi-Fi around here, so we're having to go into town to do anything online. But so yes, I'm working on these 2 at a time, toe up, which are my preferred method. I don't think I've ever done a cuff down. Someday I may or may not. I really love toe up because I love being able to try them on as I go. And this is just Fable's yarn. I'm not sure. The colorway is probably just a number. And I think you actually pronounce it Fable. Drops Fable print. Superwash treated wool, color 159. And I love how these turned out. So that's fun. I'm finally getting something off the needles. And then I still haven't touched my breathing space sweater, but I can show you the infamous chocolate stain, which I haven't even tried to get out yet. Where is it? Oh, here it is. So it's really not that bad. You can't see it too much, and I'm really hopeful that it will come out. So as you can see, I'm getting there on the sleeves. I just have a few more rows of striping to do, and then it's just going to be the solid purple color, which is the cold seam color. And it calls for 3/4 inch sleeves, but I think I'm going to do a full sleeve length. And I can't wait to block it and wear it. Very excited. So I have 3 unfinished projects with me on this trip. We're gone for 3 weeks. I'm almost done those socks. I'm hopeful to finish this because really, guys, that's like not much left. And then I'm really hoping to just whip these up, finish these up. These are my fine and dandies, and I'm not going to continue on with the flower pattern. I just want to make mention, I've said this before, the problem is not the pattern. Jessica of the Sweater Co., I believe her name's Jessica, did a beautiful job writing that pattern. And if you're more patient than I am, you will love this sock pattern. Many people have loved this sock pattern and have made it multiple times. It's just not in my personality to be have enough of attention span to do a beautiful pattern like this. So yes, I wanted to make sure that you know it's not the pattern I hate. The pattern is wonderfully written, well crafted, worth your time. because look how beautiful they turn out. You just have to know yourself, and I have to admit defeat on these socks. So they're just going to be, rest of them are probably going to be vanilla. Or maybe I'll sprinkle like a few more flowers throughout to kind of keep this flower pattern up the leg a tiny bit. We'll see what I feel like. And then I guess I actually just saw this in my bag. I forgot that this is Mina Phillips cobblestone toque, which I'm really close. I should be able to finish this as well. So these are the things that I'm working on, and it's turning out really nice. It's got a double, this was knit really long, and then you just fold it over and knit it into the pattern. So that's turning out really nice. So I should be able to finish that as well. But I do have some yarn that I bought in Portland when I was with Robin for a project, which I wrote down in my show notes. I think it was called Cave by Jose Paquin. I think Joanna has knit a sweater by her. Calais. It's a tank top anyways. And hers called for, I think she made it out of not linen, but bamboo, flax, I'm not sure. Anyways, I'm making it out of linen, 100% linen. This is Lang Yarns Lino, and it's a worsted weight. So it should be a really quick knit because it's just a tank top, and it has these thick bands and this trim all around it. So it's quite beautiful. And so I think I'm going to do black trim and blue, or sorry, this brown for the main color. And these don't have colorway names that I can see of. But yeah, it's just Lang Yarns Lino. And it's a linen, 100% linen. So I'm excited to start that and hopefully finish it. We'll see. I always have big plans. And then this is the only other thing I bought in Portland, and it is Fierce Fibers in the colorway True, and it's from the store Pearl Fiber Arts. This I got at a store called Twisted, which is a wonderful, wonderful store. I loved being there, and so fun. When we were at Twisted, I have a friend who's in rehab right now, and so a bunch of us are getting together, making sure we're sending her lots of love, and so I'm sending her a letter every week. And so I had just a quick letter to mail, and I asked the woman at Twisted where the nearest post office was, and she was like, well, what are you mailing? And I said, just a letter. And she said, I can just give you a stamp. I was like, what? And it's funny because Robin had totally predicted it. She's like, let's ask at the yarn store. She's like, I bet you they'll let you put your mail in with their daily mail. And I was like, nobody does that. And she offered me a stamp, and I said, well, it's actually going to Canada, so I might need 2 stamps. She gave me 2 stamps, so Twisted is my new favorite yarn store. I loved it. So, so kind and generous. So then, yes, I got this at Pearl Fiber Arts, and it is the colorway Muscat, so it's this really fun purple and cream color. And that's it. And I think the other thing I had to say was in my show notes, a couple of you have been asking about me auditioning for the show Canada's Smartest Person. So I should probably update you on that, since when Joanna was on last, I talked a bit about being asked to audition for that. So I had a Skype interview with a guy who I think that's what he does all day, is he puts people through their preliminary test. And so through each of the intelligences, he asked me some questions, and it did not go well. I was a ball of nerves, and partly the problem was that he started out in an area that I felt pretty confident in. We did some word puzzles, and I completely flopped. And so my brain just started to shut down, and I thought this was going to be my best section. And since it was horrible, every section after that just went poorly because I was just like, oh, I suck. And so, I mean, we laughed. I cracked some jokes, and I tried to just relax, but I couldn't shut off those tapes in my head. So I pretty much bombed the whole thing. And so he just said, I can't tell you how you did, but if we're interested in you, you'll get a call before August 1st. And I was thinking, well, it's lovely. It was lovely to meet you. Thank you for being patient with me. And I haven't heard back, so I'm assuming that I was not chosen, which is perfectly fine. Because making a fool of myself in front of one person was honestly enough for me to go, oh, yeah, I don't need to do this. But it was fun. It was fun to just say yes. It was fun to see what happened after I said yes. And I'm still glad that I did it. But no, I will not be on the show Canada's Smartest Person, nor will I be Canada's Smartest Person. I will just be Shannon, just little Shannon. Let's see, what else did I have on my show notes? Haven't done Shan things for a while, so I thought I'd tell you a couple Shan things. So one Shan thing is that a year and a half ago, we were here for the first time on our first road trip with our brand new travel trailer. And we had thought at the time that we might want to sell everything and go in an RV full time as a family. Emma had just kind of started homeschooling. Steve and I work for ourselves, so we thought, like, it's perfect. There's nothing tying us down to a certain geographical location, so why wouldn't we do that, travel over North America? So we thought we'd take it out for a test drive to see how we liked it. And so this was one of the first places that we came. Everything that could go wrong went wrong in those first couple nights. We were a ball of nerves. We were stressed. We were snapping at Emma. Emma was miserable because she was worried we were actually going to do it full time. She was not ready to leave the comforts of home. A sewage smell started to seep into our trailer. There was a torrential downpour here because we've chosen to come times when roads are not great to travel on in Canada. So we've come south where the weather is better. But hopefully we'll start to do more trips eastward in Canada and across North America. That's been really fun, and we really do love being in our trailer and away from there's something about being in the trailer where you know you still have to do work, but it still just feels like, it just feels different. And so you have this different mentality that you bring with you on the road. And we definitely have been forced as a family to just be in each other's space, which forces you to work through things in a different way. And we play more games together. We watch more television together. We just end up around each other more, whereas when we're at home, Emma can go up to her room and shut herself in there. I can be in my office, Steve can be in the living room. You know, we tend to migrate away from each other because we can, whereas when we're on the road, we end up spending a lot more time together. So it's good for us. We like just getting away from regular life and being on the road. And then the second Shan thing that I have to tell you is that probably most of you know if you watch Eric Lutz's Sticks Plus Twine podcast, or if you watch Devin on his podcast with his wife, who they've renamed their podcast, and I can't think of what it's called, and I can't think of his wife's name right now. Anyways, Eric and Devin are starting a knitting magazine for men, and it's called Rib Magazine, and you can find it on ribmagazine.com. ribmag.com. You can find them on Instagram as @ribmagazine. And the exciting thing is that Eric asked me if I would write for them. And so I am writing an article. I'm going to be writing an essay about men who knit and why they knit. And I'm really excited about that. I'm excited to sit down and do a little bit of research. And Eric's collected a bunch of anecdotes from men who knit, and so I'm going to get to go through those and sort of pull it all together and write an essay for their brand new magazine, which I'm just thrilled about because I actually haven't flexed my writing muscles in a long time, and I've been wanting to get back to writing. I purposely didn't bring my art with me on this trip, and I obviously don't have my sewing with me, so my creative outlets on this trip are going to be my writing and my knitting. And so I'm excited to hunker down and spend a little bit more time with those two favorites of mine. I feel like I rushed through this a little bit. I talked pretty fast and I didn't feel very relaxed. I've sort of gotten out of the habit of podcasting. And I think it's a muscle, honestly. I think it's a muscle like any other muscle. If you don't use it, it starts to get a little bit unfamiliar. So hopefully I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying. I guess I just need to relax, is what I'm saying. It's beautiful here, and I wish you were here with me, because we can just knit on the beach. And I think that's what I'm going to do. My family was down here, but Steve had a meeting to do, so they went to the cafe with Wi-Fi in town. And I'm just going to walk back to the trailer, because like I said, it's literally across the street. But I think what I'm going to do is pack up the camera and head down closer to the beach. The water, I mean. I'm on the beach. See? That's the sand. I'm going to head down closer to the water and maybe just finish the cuff on those socks and cast off. And I plan to do Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off, in case you're wondering. Which I know you are, because this is a knitting podcast after all. Yeah, I sometimes wish I could just relax in front of the camera, but it comes on and I'm all like, oh, hi, I need to talk really fast. I need to tell you all the things. I need to tell you them really fast because I don't want to waste your time, because I know you have other things to do and you have other podcasts to watch, and I'm lucky you even choose me. Oh my goodness, why do you even choose me? You're probably going to realize you made a mistake in a second, so I better talk fast so that you can get all the things you need to get before you have to go. It's silly. That's it. That's all, guys. I'm pretty sure that's it. I'll have to go back and check my show notes and see what I missed, if I missed anything. You might be hearing from Shannon from the future in this episode. Hopefully next time I film, I believe, so yeah, we'll be in Florence, Oregon by then. By the time I film next week, I will be in Florence. We'll have had our whole stay in Tillicum, because we're going to Tillicum tomorrow, and then I think we're staying in Tillicum until Sunday or Monday, and then heading down to Florence, and then we're going to be back in Vancouver just after Labor Day weekend, the day after. And then it's just a few weeks until Knit City, which I really hope to see you there. Like I said last time, there's going to be a meetup on this Saturday night at the pub in the atrium. I can't remember the name of the pub, but that will be in the show notes. And then, I'll just be wandering around the market, and I really hope that if you see me, you will say hello, because it would be really wonderful to say hello to you. And I hope that if you see other podcasters that you really want to say hello to, that you remember that we're just plain everyday people just like you who just happen to sit in front of a camera every, few times a month and ramble on about knitting, and that doesn't make us any different or better than you. So please come and say hello, because these things would not be able to exist without you, or they would be a lot less meaningful without you and your support. So yeah, Knit City, I hope to see you there. I'm excited. And then in October, November, we are heading back down the coast to get to a conference in San Diego by the end of October that Steve is speaking at, and then we'll just be puttering around most of October in RV. So that's it. This year is going to be over before we know it. Time is a bizarre and strange thing. Thanks for being here, guys. I love being with you. I love knowing you. I love that you show up for me every week. Thank you. Thanks for learning all the things with me. Thanks for knitting all the things with me. I hope you have a fantastic week and that you're doing well. And if you're not doing well, that's okay too. Hugs from me to you. Big love and squishy hugs, guys.
Okay, you are not a bear, because if you are, you should be a...
There's a girl over there, and her dad is the starter, and she's in her cute little bathing suit, and he's timing her running across this stream that is coming down. Could even be her grandpa, I'm not sure. But it's very cute. Family's on the beach. I love people watching. People watching is my most favorite thing to do. So cute. Get out of this chair.